Hey guys, welcome to the MC Anime Podcast. We cover anime, geek culture, Japanese aesthetics, and Asian studies. We are a multi-fandom podcast, and you can expect to hear topics in your favorite hobby or fandom activity potentially. You can find MC Anime on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, please check out mcanimepodcast.com, our website. Furthermore, stay tuned in for another episode.
Welcome to another episode of MC Anime Podcast. MC here, and I have a special guest with me today, Anton Djinn. How are you doing today, Anton Djinn?
Doing wonderful. Glad to be on. Glad to be part of a podcast. Feeling good.
So, where can they find you, and tell a little about yourself and who you are?
You can find me on Discord with Anton Djinn, spelt however it'll be spelled here, 0696. I play fighting games a lot. Well, more like competitive games in general, but like fighting games I think is where it all kind of started. Going to school in between that, juggling a little bit of work, but everything's been doing stuff.
So, before we get into it, for anyone who's watching MC Anime Podcast today, you can find us on all the podcasts near you, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, such as also the mcanimewebsite.com. So that's also another mcanimepodcast.com is where you can find all the latest episodes and our main website and other social media on Linktree.
Are we still on Spotify?
Yeah, we are.
Yo, we're still on Spotify. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm on like 6-7 main directories.
I listened to some of your earlier podcasts yesterday at work. Since I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to this guy, so I might as well have like a little bit of a feel on like how things go.
I don't blame you there.
Yeah.
This particular episode of MCMA Podcast is Super Smash Bros. Melee versus Tekken, and Anton Djinn is going to talk about that and be a highlight special guest about these two categories.
Yeah, so it's something I'll start off with kind of why I like both, is that they both have this this level of player expression that like Maximilian Dude did a video on this about loose versus tight fighting games, and Tekken and Melee specifically for the Smash series are both on that looser end, where it's the games I feel at first feel clunky. In fact, that you, the player, don't know how to use its systems yet, and then after that, maybe a couple weeks go by of playing the game. That's when you notice, oh, this game's is loose because it's clunky.
Okay.
Because
I see that.
So it's like you have for like Melee, right? You have Falco, who kind of feels like is the only character with a true fireball in Melee, and you as a Falco player, you can play very much laid back and just sit in a corner and throw lasers, or you could follow up after, like behind your laser, something like you would see in a Street Fighter, where you use the fireball as sort of a protector, like you run in behind it, and then your opponent has to react to the laser or react to you.
Okay, so it's like a trap bait situation.
Yeah, it creates it's like the diversity in play styles of the top tiers for Melee specifically, which out of a small cast of 26 characters, like 12 are considered viable.
Yeah.
But from those 12, the 8 the 8 higher tier characters all have unique play styles. Like it's a variance in gameplay rather than something like Ultimate that you oversaturate, and then you have characters that play like other characters, which then you're using the same notes to be more than one character.
Yeah, that's also another thing. What I think Super Smash Melee represents different combos that you can do with a character do the
Yeah.
combos unique to those characters, fight with the characters that you like and love, and have very versatile in battle and what you want to do. But also throw your opponent off, be able to not only distract them, but also the switch between offense and defense, and having those different subtle, I guess, knowledge and depth movement base and the movement of the character to actually be able to fight to the full potential of the character at hand.
Yeah, since Melee is we are very much 20 years after the game's release, we are very much not playing it as it was intended to be played. Once whoever figured out how to wave dash in Melee, they changed the game forever.
Okay, so let's use main dashes for example.
Yeah.
If they found out to make a later glitch or a later technique to do better, does that dramatically improve the game, or does that change the game into a totally different way how to play the game?
It would add just another layer of depth to it. The game, if it's a glitch that affects all characters, then it has the extension to change the game dramatically. But if it's something like Samus's super wave dash that's character specific, it's a 2-frame window to do, and it only has 4 or 5 edge case uses, then it probably just improves the meta of that one character. So if it's something discovered on a lower tier character, maybe the glitch bumps them up a little bit, because then this character now has a new viable option.
Okay, what is an example of a character that got boosted up from a specific Melee combo that someone found?
You have Axe with Pikachu, who's Axe is the Pikachu player, and he kind of carries that character and shows that, oh, this character is not as bad as people think it is. You also have Amsa for Yoshi, which Yoshi's a little bit of a mess in Melee, because this was the first game that introduced the super armor on his double jump, something that became a mainstay feature of him. He has parry, which he can jump out of his shield early in the startup, and he's invincible. And you'll be in hit stun while I'm fully actionable, and then I can just nair you out of shield, and you just can't really do anything about it. So I have these offensive defensive tools. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because when I play Super Smash Brothers, my choice of characters is Mr. Game & Watch, King Yidi, Meta Knight, Meta Knight, Lucario, Pikachu, Pokemon Trainer, and also I'll be really good at Kirby at times. But probably my favorite that actually was the most versatile was Mr. Game & Watch, because of the different variety of combos.
Yeah, Game & Watch is
Or Meta Knight, because I like Meta Knight because it had high flying ability and could dodge getting thrown off the platform.
Yeah, Game & Watch wasn't done justice in Melee, since he was one of the victims of the 13-month cycle, production cycle. So Game & Watch is very much incomplete in Melee, which hurts. And the fact that it's how much different the game would be if it had 6 more months of production. Well, now it's in Ultimate, he's this fleshed out character. He's got one of the best recoveries, I think. It's a frame 3 recovery that's no one can do anything about unless your name is Steve specifically.
Okay, so Mr. Game & Watch is a product of game development and how much time you should be able to develop the game from Melee to Ultimate.
Yeah, for Melee, Game & Watch has Mario's jump height, run speed, I think initial dash speed, I think same traction, because they used Mario, I guess, as the base for certain characters, and it's he just didn't there just wasn't enough time to give Game & Watch his unique characteristics. Like something like an obvious sign of incompleteness is Game & Watch's shield doesn't cover his entire body. Like they didn't change the shield they didn't change the shield size in the formula for that.
Okay, so not having enough time to develop it and flesh out more characters than they should have done.
Yeah,
some of the disadvantages with Melee and how it was sped up through production.
It's hard for me to want to even consider that a flaw, because I feel like also if Melee was given enough production time, a lot of the little quirks that I think players enjoy would have been removed. Because after the release of the game, they admitted that they knew that wave dashing was in the game. So if it had 6 more months, was wave dashing going to stay? Would the kind of the thing that rooted Melee as being a competitive fighter, if that was removed, I don't think the game would still be as active as it is 20 years after the fact.
Okay. So if Rainbow Dash, you're saying that Rainbow Dash could have been removed, but wouldn't just upgrades be like more upgrades? Wouldn't necessarily it be removed, but actually just still be part of the game?
Well, I think it would be removed and think that it would be it. I feel like Sakurai views it as like anti what he wanted. It adds a competitive aspect to a game that was designed to be a casual party game, right? So if Sakurai wanted the game to be a casual party game, and he saw this thing that makes more options, that makes the game faster, looser, and not fun for a casual player, I think it would have been removed and not allow the game to have its personality.
Okay, so the short runtime of production by 6 months actually introduced features to the game to give it life, give it unique characteristics that to this day can be
still
resonate with people that still play the game.
Yeah, like Melee's kind of like a perfect storm that it's loved by one side, it's despised by its creator because they didn't want the game to be competitive. So like Nintendo actively tries to sabotage the competitive scene of the game of Melee because I think it's part of it at first was don't turn our fun party game into a competitive game, and I feel later on it changed to, guys, it's been 15 years, please buy our other games, please do something else than play this 20-year-old game.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality is affecting other sales in other areas of Super Mario.
Yeah, it's like I remember when Brawl came out.
Yeah.
Melee had a lull because we didn't, as a community, we didn't know if Brawl's gonna pick up steam and then Brawl's gonna overshadow Melee and then Melee will die. Well, thankfully, competitively, Brawl kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It like the memes of Meta Knight, of Brawl Meta Knight and Brawl Ice Climbers, and then oh god, who else was a terrible top tier? Snake was a nasty top tier in Brawl.
Yeah.
Like the game it had its high tiers, but I don't feel like the game as a whole, like what was good in Brawl was grabbing and infinite grabs. While something in Melee, it's these Build-A-Bear combos, it's this fast decision making, it's like just the speed of Melee versus Brawl. You could tell which one was going to survive.
Oh, okay.
Because Melee is a fast game.
So the survivability rate of the game throughout the years is the saving grace of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Brawl, I think like Brawl flopped probably like once Smash 4 was announced, and then Smash 4 flopped the moment Ultimate came out. But it's this parallel against them is just Melee, just doing its thing.
Alright, so
Because
this is an example where the original piece is still better than the other spin-offs and other sequels.
yeah, I admire even like going to the original with Smash 64. The coolest thing that you can find on Smash 64 is every year at Super Smash Con they have a combo contest for Nintendo for the N64 Smash.
Mhm.
And that's the tightest stuff I've ever like. I'm not into the Smash 64 competitive scene,
Mhm.
but I can watch a combo showcase and still be blown away by how like the crazy setups that they're doing.
Okay, I respect that.
Because it's just this level of technical skill, and it's like there's item combos, there's like percent play, like they have the combo that they want to do down to a science
Oh, okay.
of controlling all these seemingly uncontrollable variables.
Okay then.
Yeah.
So, with the combo showcase, do you feel as if Super Smash 64 expands onto that original game as well?
What Smash 64 did as the original game, I feel like it laid the idea of the platform fighter because it was the first of its kind, and it started this, which now is the platform fighter is another genre now, which it's Smash 64 introduced it, and then I feel Melee kind of
Piggyback on the success.
yeah, like it piggybacked and then it expanded on to make it not as floaty, not as much hit stun. Like it removed what makes Smash 64 not fun to play.
Oh, okay.
Which, well, that like I don't like how floaty the game is. I don't like the amount of hit stun in the game.
Mhm.
Whereas Melee, they made it quick. Characters had weight to them. So, like, you feel more of the weight of the character rather than everybody's jumping on the moon.
Oh, okay.
Like it's that much of a night and day kind of feel.
True. And what do you think of the incorporation of story mode in Melee?
It's fun. It's single player content, which if you look at the original, there wasn't any. Melee kind of gave you this little run through the worlds, which is cool, is fun. It does what it's supposed to do, and then it gets blown up out of proportion with Brawl, where there's like cutscenes, this overarching story, these character relationships that you don't ever see, like Captain Falcon and Olimar being like that kind of like who would put Falcon and Olimar next to each other.
So you think the story mode in Brawl is like super fleshed out, while the story mode in Melee is like on the surface, does what it needs to do? It doesn't.
Melee, it showed that they had the idea,
Mhm.
while Brawl is okay. We took that idea and then we thought it through. And Subspace Emissary, I feel is like one of the only reasons to play Brawl years after its release, because that's the only real unique thing about the game.
Okay, so you think that story mode for Brawl for Super Smash Brothers is fleshed out to the point where it stands alone in the Super Smash Bros. Community?
Yeah, like it's Subspace is like, I don't even think World of Light, honestly, like World of Light for Ultimate is big, but like there is nowhere near the amount of heart that was put into Subspace.
Yeah.
Because in Ultimate, you get this opening cutscene where everyone dies except for Kirby, and then it's there you go, okay, go fight everybody. Where in Brawl, you had these fleshed out cutscenes, these silent these silent cutscenes, but it's you get so much more characterization is done through that, and I guess even through them all being iconic characters. Like, we know how Kirby's gonna act. We know how Mario's gonna act. We know how we know that Luigi's gonna be scared of everything, and they express that in Subspace.
Okay.
Well,
here's a question.
Oh, I like question.
Ultimate Brawl Melee 64. Which one do you think that the characters and how they are portrayed in the game are best suited for that particular game?
I think the best representing character of their source material is Melee Samus.
Okay.
Because Melee Samus has all these there's all these gadgets that she has anyways. Like in her game, she has the bomb, she has the charge shot, she has the missiles, and those are her first those are her specials. I like that they changed Link's design as the games went on to match sort of the adjacent Zelda title. Like for 64 and Melee, they turned to the Ocarina of Time design, and then to Brawl they gave him more of the Twilight vibe, and then the introduction of Toon Link, which has his own little variants, and then in Ultimate they bring back Young Link because they changed Main Link so much to match Skyward Sword.
So if you were to say a character is a time capsule of Super Smash Brothers, which would be a time capsule representation?
I want to say Brawl just because it's Brawl has way more trophies, way more collectibles, and Brawl sort of turned the page of turning Smash into this homage of Nintendo history. And I just feel like Brawl does that the best, since it was the other game that had trophies, with Melee being the first, but Melee's trophies list is way smaller and way less representative of the timeline of Nintendo. Where Brawl, it's because there's so many trophies, you can just see all this Nintendo lore and this Nintendo wants you to know about their properties, even the lesser known Japanese exclusive titles like Choo Choo Land or that one photography game that the assist trophy in Ultimate's from.
Okay. So you feel like the trophies are homage to what Nintendo was, what Nintendo is, and how Nintendo is being in the state of Super Smash, bringing the crossover all together?
Yeah, even if games that don't have any representation in Smash will get a trophy as a little hey, this is one of our games, this is the main character from that game.
Okay. That's interesting you bring that up, because a lot of times people like to look for type of content like Easter eggs. What Easter eggs are presented in Super Smash Bros. As a franchise?
In Melee on Corneria, which is the Star Fox ship, that's one of the Star Fox stages. If you play one of the space animals, and I think if you go on the D-pad left right, and you hold down, your character will do a unique taunt, where then it's Slippy will come up on the heads up display of the game and give you some of his dialogue, in the voice of Star Fox 64. Or if you have one of the animals on stage, you might get a clip from the other one. If you're doing the special taunt with Falco, you'll get Fox comms, or if you do as Fox, you'll get Falco comms. That I've always thought was one of the cute little things. And then in Brawl and in Smash 4, you have Snake with the Colonel and Pit with Palutena respectively, as the little, it was the cute little Easter egg that they didn't have to put that in.
They put
They
it in
did.
anyway.
Yeah, like I like that for Melee. It's like they had 13 months to make the game, but they were like, we need to have this little interaction on Corneria with the space animals. We need to have this. And I like that.
So you think the idea development team were like digging deep into lore and Easter eggs as a way to be like unique, screaming unique, and being
Yeah, like it's
one of a kind in the game design.
yeah, it's a lot of the little things I feel like for this game, for all the games.
Gotcha. So, which lesser-known characters in the games do you want to see in another rendition of Super Smash Bros?
If I could pick a character,
Yeah.
if I could pick a character from, well,
a character that's not in Super Smash yet at this point.
to use this as a segue into the other game, Yoshimitsu from Tekken. Yoshimitsu. So he's the in Tekken, he's the only character with a sword.
Okay.
And what time his really unique thing is he has a lot of different stances. Like he will like stand, like he'll like sit on top of his sword. Like his sword will be dug into the ground, and he'll like sit on top of it, and he'll like crawl with his swords. And like he has Dragonfly, which is he's hovering, like he's using his sword as like a propeller blade. He has a stance where he just sits down, and then he has options out of that. He has like Yoshimitsu is like such a funky character that I feel like the Smash team could have a lot of fun with him and incorporating a lot of his elements from his source material, as well as that little bit of like Smash spice that they
Okay, so we're going to Tekken.
Yeah,
what
Tekken,
does Tekken give to different people liking different fighting type games?
I feel Tekken's one of the harder games.
Mm-hmm.
So it has that challenge aspect. It's 3D. It's the big 3D fighter.
Okay.
So it has that going for it. I feel like the characters in Tekken have like a lot. I feel like the designs in Tekken is beyond astounding. Like you can sort of look more visually at a character and like that understanding of, okay, that's what this character wants to do, just based off of looking at them. I feel Tekken does very well. Like I play King in Tekken, and like he's a wrestler and he looks like a wrestler. Like he's big, he got the trunks, he has the belt, he's a luchador fighter, so he has the mask, and his game plan is grab you. He wants to grab you and never let you go.
Okay. So, those are different generations of Tekken. Because those are, what's like 809 of them or something like that?
Yeah. The mainline 8 game just got announced a couple weeks ago, but it's the actual like total Tekken games. I think there's like 9.
Yeah. So, which developer from Tekken do you like? Capcom, Bandai Namco, the B&E, Namco?
Bandai. Like Harada's a spirit animal type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember for one of the reveals, and like the crowd was going like all screaming and going crazy, and Harada just, when he went on stage, the first thing he said was to shut up.
Okay.
And like I don't think there's any developer that would just do that except for Harada. Like he's telling you as the creator, shut up and don't ask me for anything.
Alright. What did you think he meant by that?
Trust him. I can trust that Harada can deliver a product that I'll enjoy. You know, Harada's been making Tekken for like 25 years. Like, I think he knows what he's doing by now.
So you're a Piranha worshiper in some way.
I respect the distance from fan to developer, because I feel like some developers listen to the fans too much and then try to appeal to every fan, and that's where I feel like issues kind of rise, where Harada is telling you, this is my game, this isn't yours. I won't tell you how to do something, you don't tell me how to do something.
Oh, okay. So he's not. It's like he ain't gonna bend to the will of the players. Instead, he's gonna bend to the will of what is the development and the creativity of the game itself.
Yeah, like I enjoy that Harada like stands his ground about that. Like,
Okay, so he's like more willing to bend a little bit to the company instead of the actual players.
yeah, and it's like sure Tekken 7 had a couple of mistakes.
Yeah.
But like it's fine. Like Tekken, this was the first time they did DLC. This is the first time they did crossovers. This is the first time that they've done. This is the first time that they introduced a 2D fighter into Tekken through Eliza, Akuma, and Geese.
Okay.
Where like they wanted to experiment in this game, and I'm happy for it. I'm glad. As much as the community doesn't like the 2D fighters, I don't like the 2D fighters, but I'm glad that they took the risk onto something as a way to try it out.
Oh, okay. And
Since
unlike Super Smash Bros., this was actually designed to be a fighting game, not just a casual game to pick up.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, we discovered a couple things. Well, I guess this party game is now a fighter. No, it was designed to be a fighting game. It has the elements of it. You have this. Yeah, it's a fighting game. It's designed to be one. It's meant to be played at a high level. It's meant to be enjoyed as a spectator sport, which I feel like Tekken is also one of those. Like it's like both these games are really good spectator sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember watching Tekken 7 for like 4 or 5 months before I got the game, and I was enjoying every match I watched. And that's what I like. I enjoy when games are good at being. It's fun to play and fun to watch.
I agree with that because most of my interaction with games and video games is usually watching on play. Because most of the time, I ain't gonna have that Xbox. I ain't gonna have that PlayStation. I have the Switch, but I don't play the Switch. Stuff like that. I do not have the time to invest into a heavy, long game for like 6 months.
Yeah, but that's even like the fun of fighters. Like a Tekken set, like a 2 out of 3 will last like 10 minutes, and then that's it. And then like you're on to the next battle. Like a Smash set will last like melee sets will last very similar. Like it's 3 minutes a game. Like you're in and out.
Yeah, fighting games are specifically in a unique nature because they offer quick pace content opposed to like long, prolonged storyline and campaigns.
Yeah, or even relative to like other competitive games, like a fighting game set versus like a MOBA game or CS:GO, or actually, well, I don't really know how fast CS:GO is at a competitive level, but I'll assume it's longer than 10 minutes, right? Like, it's just as thought-provoking, but you're making fast decisions. It's a lot of quick decisions, almost to the point of you have to react. Like, you're just trusting on reaction more than you're trusting on, okay, I have time to process this. Because in something like Tekken, where frames are everything, you have to know right away, oh, this move's -10, so it's a jab punish, or oh, this is -13, this is like or oh, they threw a laggy launcher and they're like -1,000,000, and I'm just gonna get the full launch combo. Like, it's you have to know those. like then and there, or else you drop the interaction and then you lose damage because you applied the wrong punish, you didn't punish, or even if you do punish, you drop the punish combo. Like the game punishes you for messing up and rewarding you for doing good. Crazy concept, I know.
Okay, so it rewards you for doing good, but it also punishes for doing bad. So the punishment, I feel like, is the full application of knowing the game and not doing the full application. Is that correct?
Yeah, or it could even be a thing of you did the right thing, but sometimes jank happens and it doesn't work out, or it's the stage in Tekken is just gets to joke on you, like you did the right punish, but you're too close to the wall, so now you have to adapt. And do you know your side hit combos, like from the wall bouncing them off the side of their character instead of the back? Like, do you know that? Do you know? Can you or if you're doing a juggle, it's like, can you get them to the wall? Can you do this? Can you do that?
Oh, so this plays into different people's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, like you'll have even characters' strengths and weaknesses, so you get that character diversity, you get the player diversity. Like there's one stage in Tekken 7 where it's like 3 floor breaks in a row. King, a character who's seen in like the top echelon, like he's at the end of the top tiers. But on that stage specifically, King becomes one of the best characters in the game because his regular combo ender ends in a floor break. So he gets like 2 floor breaks on a big combo, and then you lose like 75% of your health because King got a hop kick.
Oh, so it's now niche applications to characters benefit in these situations.
Yeah, like they benefit from stage, or it's Howard Estate, which is wall breaks, but but like unlike the floor break stage, Howard's with the wall breaks is less applicable in a high level tournament, and it's more Howard Estate with high enough execution. Every character has a death combo, and it's kind of funny because you can re-break, because it's like you do a wall break, you push them up to the second wall, you break that wall, you push them to the third wall, you break that one, and then you do the final balcony break. It's fun, but it's also that edge case of this is just out of range for tournament application, because your opponent's going to know what you're trying to do when you're trying to position them up to the wall. They're not dumb. They're not just going to let that happen.
Okay, so it's also testing other people's knowledge of those characters' strengths, so they don't play into those strengths.
Yeah, or even if it could even be less of playing into strengths, more of covering your weakness. Like, I remember for the Tekken World Tour 2019 for the final, like the big, like this is like the tournament of it.
Yeah.
Rang Chu was playing Panda, who is seen as one of the worst characters in the game, and he wins with a bear, which up to that point was unheard of. No one even thought a bear could win a tournament. But Rang Chu did it. He played bear because Rang Chu was very bad at sidestepping, which is, as someone who plays Tekken, it's a little tricky, I'll admit it. So he picked a character that covered his own weakness as a player.
Oh.
And that's an interesting dynamic.
So it's like other characters like that can actually compensate for the player's weaknesses with actually adapting to their strengths in that character?
You have Leroy, who was one of the DLC characters, but it's like he has stances that can like make your life as a player easier. Like I think Hermit it'll automatically low parry for you. Or you'll have someone like Lily, who unlike Panda, has one of the biggest sidesteps in the game. Almost to the point where Lily can be seen as a counterpick character to characters who are very weak to sidestepping. Something like your Mishima's, Kazumi, who's another Lucky Chloe is also weaker to sidestepping. So that you can learn a lower tier character that's really good at like 2 or 3 things to cover your main character who will probably lose to other high tiers, or you can rely on playing a mid tier for matchup inexperience. Like, if I'm playing a mid tier, you're playing a high tier. I played against that high tier way more than you played against this mid tier. Do you know what to do?
Oh,
Because I know what to do. Yeah, it's like I know what to do, and I'm gonna play into that you don't know what to do against my mid tier, and I'm gonna pull all the gimmicks out because mid tier gimmicks can probably steal a match. Well, no, a game. Yeah, a game. Like it could steal a best of like it could steal game 1, and then I turn this best of 3 for me into a best of 2 because I gimmicked you game 1.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's like you do the surprise factor, and then all of a sudden you take that game, and then the next 2 games
I have more
unknown.
breathing.
Yeah, it's still unknown, but it puts the other player at a disadvantage.
Yeah, like it's the stealing. Like anytime if you could steal a game, absolutely take it.
Okay.
Like in both games, I've gotten got by mid tiers because I don't know what to do against them. Like if I get matched up against like a Claudio, I have no idea what to do against Claudio. All I can do is my game plan, and if my game plan works, awesome. If it doesn't, oh well, I don't know how to fight against Claudio. I gotta learn the matchup like 1 or 2 games at a time, and then everything's all good.
So you feel like you got better at that mid tier or low tier characters, or you feel like you need to be better?
For something like Tekken, where there's like 30 something characters, I think.
Yeah.
It's out of those 30 something characters, you only really need to know the key moves of each character. Like you need I would want to know their launchers and like their heavy investment strings. Like trying to learn matchups. You want to see like where are the choke points in the character, rather than trying to learn the neutral of the character. Because you'll have characters like Lei, who have a lot of movement, a lot of stances, since he's the Kung Fu character. So like he has Crane, he has Dragon, he has Viper, he even has a Drunken Master. So it's I'm not gonna learn that 20-page essay of a character when I only need to know like 12 moves from him.
But you can still lose to him if you don't learn the full expanse of the character a little bit more.
Yeah, like it's because like one of his main moves, Razor Rush. It's after every hit is delayable, so he can check. So like you can do that as a check to see if you're still holding block, and after every hit, he can go into one of the animal stances. So like you can do these very slow Razor Rushes, and then stance, and then you punish because your opponent is still holding back. I felt like that delayability, which is just one of the more common places in Tekken, like a lot, like I think maybe 80% of the strings are delayable. So it adds that depth because it's a frame-based game, and I'm changing timings on you. Like that's like a big thing of Tekken with like being better is learning the timings, like learning how your opponent plays the game. Because some people will just press buttons and just do the strings at max at the fastest time you can do, but others, the smarter ones, that know that the second hit of the string is guaranteed could slow it down just to mess with you.
Alright.
And then it's like that opens up the door to like hit confirmable strings where it's like if I can just throw the first swing and decide if I want to do the second hit based off of how you treat that first one. So it's still my turn, but I get to decide how I want to take a situation.
And is there any advantages in Tekken that if you get it, it can it's like winning the rock paper scissors and you go first kind of scenario?
Winning the first interaction is like the way that Tekken is played at like mid to high level is like you don't hold forward. Like if you move forward in Tekken right as a match starts, that's the worst thing you can do. Like Tekken is a lot pokier, so like both players will backdash away from each other at the start of the game and just wait and just see and they'll dance with each other to see who wants to throw the first high committal move. Be like there are games where it's both players are kind of just jabbing at each other the entire game rather than throwing these big launchers, crazy combos. It's a much more slower game because they're playing smart. They're taking their time at picking apart their opponent rather than I'm gonna run up, I'm gonna hop kick, and then I'm gonna just explode all over them.
So like boxing kind of thing.
Yeah, like
it's boxing mentality. They like go in.
Yeah, like the boxing, the neutral.
Trying to find the
opening. Like the footsies of Tekken is the footsies of any game is like that's. I feel like where a lot of the mental warfare happens is when we aren't throwing punches, but both of us really want to.
So, in our cross-examination of Super Smash and Tekken, where do you draw the line? Which one is your favorite of the two?
I like Melee more right now because that's what I'm playing more. But like, if I play Tekken for like 2 weeks, then Tekken's my favorite game. Like I re-downloaded Slippy for Melee like a while ago, and it was just like that was it. Like I'm playing it like an hour or so a day.
So your bias is the game you're playing at the moment.
Yeah, like right now I'm leaning into Melee because I just wanted to play it more. I wanted to get better at it, and I feel like through playing Tekken and through like better drills for execution, like made my Melee game better because just I got better at working a stick. So inputs got cleaner, movement got better, and then once you know how to move in these two games, the doors open, have fun. Like welcome to your new addiction.
Yep. Once the floodgates open, it's hard to swim back into the current flow and get back to the current speed of things.
Yeah, like it's I feel like any fighting game you should I feel like anybody should play at least one fighting game. Like I've also like over the years I played a bit of Marvel 3, but like I didn't have enough access to Marvel 3, so I didn't really play that. But Marvel's one of those like Marvel 2 specific actually over 3 is crazy loose, crazy open-ended. Since Marvel has the team mechanic where you can find uses for these lesser known characters. But it's like you have that character expression.
So as this
you have that player expression.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's more player expression than character expression.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As this episode comes to a close, what is one thing you want to tell the audience about the different variations of Super Smash Bros. And Tekken specifically in our discussion.
Play Melee. Just play Melee. Like learn. Understand why I've been playing this game for 20 years. Just play Melee.
Gotcha.
It's tight. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
And like a big thing that I've just completely ignored for both these games is the pro scene, the lore of the pro scene. Like, I think Corey Gaming did this like little documentary about Mango, one of the best players in Melee, and I learned stuff about him from that. Like, it's the little, like, I like the interactions of the pro players in Melee because, like, only maybe in the past 8 years they've been doing this for money. But before that, Melee, you didn't play Melee to make money. You played Melee because you loved Melee.
Yep. I agree with Anton Djinn on Melee. The expanse of Melee and how where it campuses is really good. Niche area, good content. I feel like with Tekken, it's a more serious fight. It's more, the complexity is more. Melee is more simple, well, not simple-minded, but like simple concepts. Easier to understand.
It's easier to play.
The dive.
Yeah, like Melee, it's complex, but it's easy to play.
Yeah.
While Tekken it's complex and it's hard to play.
Yeah. It's the difficult level of playability and jumping in and learning the game itself.
Yeah.
So, from that discussion, take note. If you're casual, go with Melee. Also have some complexity. If you're super serious, hardcore mode, go with Tekken. Because those are the ways I can describe the games from my perspective.
Melee's easier to get into. I'll surrender at that point. Melee's easier to play at a low level, and then it just gets easier to play at higher levels. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could talk about things that I know way too much about.
Oh yeah, geek out, be representative of that fact. You were like kind of down in the beginning of it, but now you all like right there.
Yeah, like it's fun. It's fun.
You're embracing it. That's what I say.
Being a nerd's fun. Awesome. Well.
Alright guys, so this concludes Super Smash Bros. Melee versus Tekken, or Super Smash Bros. Franchise versus Tekken. So you can see us on podcasts near you, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Please go to our website, www.mcanimepodcast.com. Also be part of our Patreon community, MC Animators. You can't stress this enough. You become part of the blog. You get ideas. You can get guest appearance. You can give ideas for particular topics. You can even write up scripts and other things. So keep in mind that's how you can get involved as a fan and be part of the fan of MCMA Podcast.
Give him money so we can start a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I'm always starting that. Don't worry about that. Thank you, Anton Djinn, for being here.
Of course. Glad to be here. Hope I can come back.
Oh, you're definitely coming back. This is not the first time appearance of Anton Djinn. He's going to be back. I'm going to get more niche, meaty content from him that I just need to explore what he is.
Okay, awesome. I can talk about things for an hour, but that's about it.
Bye, guys.
This concludes another episode of MC Anime Podcast. MC Anime Podcast is available on podcast directories like Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. We also have our website at mcanimepodcast.com. If you want to directly support us, then follow Patreon blog MC Anime. Finally, if you want services for hire, then we're available on Fiverr for audio and video production, graphic design, idea consulting, and blog and article writing.